It's that conceptually there might be even more than what a finite number could count. Lispor with a munach. So this is separated out from what's come from before and moving forward into what's going to go afterwards. Number 10, you could not even make an attempt for counting them, since due to their number, they appear as bright clouds, as illustrated by the directional shape of the reading mark. So the resolution of the human eye wouldn't be able to actually allow you to physically do this. So you conceptually could say that there's more, and if I had a better tool I could do it, and that keeps on going and going and going. So if you had a better tool than that, then you could count more, and a better tool than that, then you could count more.
Sorry, so why does the directional shape of the reading mark show that? Is that because it's a line and then the rest is a line, meaning a haze, not defined?
So if you took a number, that wouldn't be enough, and there's even more.
So there's nothing.
So if you started
specifically
with
about
the best
clouds.
thing, if you look at distant galaxies when you look up, and if you've got a tiny telescope, then it looks like you got a whole bunch of something here, and you can't count them. And then if you get a little more powerful telescope, you see, that there are actually 10,000 there. And if you get a more powerful telescope, you'll see that one that you counted as one is actually a galaxy in and of itself that's farther away, and then there's another 20,000 there. And again, you keep on looking in and looking in and looking in, and you see more and more depth. Mm-hmm. And your physical ability to discern is going to be challenged at each and every step. So you have to realize that there's more than what meets the eye. Is literally we're using the phrase here. Otam, them, with the stabilizing at nachta, number 11. It is impossible to express the number of them by any human eye, and even more obscured are their functions, as conveyed by the stabilizing shape of the reading mark. So here, we're giving a different concept, that not only is there a different number of them, but each one of them has things within it that are going to influence the other things in the universe. And therefore, if you tried to throw them into your equation, your equation's wrong. So not only is there the ability to go beyond nature, but even your concept of nature is wrong. So he's telling Avram, number one, you can go outside of the rules. And number two, he's telling him, if you thought that you knew the rules, you're wrong. Because the rules have more depth to them than a human mind can perceive. So he's saying, even what you thought you knew was wrong. Vayomer, and he said, with a munach, so this is separated from what's come from before and moving on to what's going to go afterwards. Number 12, God enriched Avram's imagination and the concept of endlessness, Ein Sof, and he said that all stars were accurately put in their place for specific performance, although it seems that some groupings disappear while others emerge, as demonstrated by the shape of the reading mark. So, when again you try to think that you understood the universe, God is telling him that there is preciseness to it. That the fact that the Earth is so far away from the Sun and Mars is so far away from us and so on, isn't random. That everything that appears in the universe has a God-given dimension, size, and proportion to it. And if you don't understand that, then you're missing some of the rules. the rules have reason. And the reason is created by a loving creator who made it this way for us. Lo, for him, with the two-part katon, slight pause afterwards, and going to have more than one meaning, one higher than the other. Number 13, the most distant arrangement of stars shall delineate for Avram some events on earth and reveal for him a principle of emergence and disappearance of nations and individuals, as depicted by the bipartite shape of the reading mark. So Avram is going to be able to now perceive things that are going to arise and things that are going to disappear, so a higher note and a lower note, and he's going to see things in nature that people, even in nature, not just above nature, but in nature, things that others hadn't yet perceived before, because he's going to know that things are more purposeful rather than being random. So, with a mercha lightly connected to what's come from before, but moving forward from there. Number 14, so too are foreseen facts related to Avram's life and his progeny, who shall prosper in paradoxical circumstances, as signified by the directional shape of the reading mark. So with his new understanding, that's the connected part, we're going to move forward into what the Jews can do afterwards. Yihiyeh will be, with a tipcha, backwards focused and pausing slightly after. Number 15, frequently they will be a disappointment to their neighbors and benefit by their miscalculations and the disillusion of their enemies, as portrayed by the closing shape of the directional reading mark. So what the Jews are going to be is going to be enigmatic. People aren't going to be able to figure it out. And when you look at what they thought and would have predicted about us, we're going to have this advantage of being just unpredictable enough that we have surprises that will allow us to persist. Zarecha, your seed, with the stabilizing sof pasuk. Frequently they will be a disappointment to their neighbors and benefit. Did we just read that? Number 16. Your seed shall possess a unique characteristic of surviving multiple adversities as they will arise. Here we're seeing pretty well the same interpretation to two different words. And the Yihiyeh, the way that it is in the future, is going to be separate from the reality that the Jews are going to impose on the rest of the world. So I think the first one, Yihiyeh, is talking about the way others will perceive us, and Zarecha is the way that we will be in relation to the rest of the world, and the way that we appear. So I think that's why the two of them are separated, and I think that's why the two of them have slightly different meanings to them. As we read through the pasuk with the pauses overemphasized, Vayotzei oto, and he took him out with him, is going to stand out as something that is very monumental, and it's going to stick out to us, and we're going to say, oh, Avram is taken outside of reality, achutza, and now Avram's in this new space, and we're going to have appreciation of the space because it's going to just sort of sit there with the Revi'i. Vayomer habetna hashamayma, it tells him to look towards the sky. That's going to stand by itself. Usfora kochavim, and what you're going to do is you're going to look at all of the different stars that are there and all of their different features. Im tuchal, you're going to notice that humanity has limits, and you're going to start to realize the limits of what a human can do, and you have to ponder that. Lispor otam, to count them, that's going to be something that all of a sudden you're going to get a new insight into. That things that you thought that you had counted before, there's even more there than you had thought. So again, what you thought the rules were, you didn't even get that right. Vayomer lo, and God is going to tell to him that Avram is going to now have this new perception that not only is there this space outside of the rules, but even the rules that he knew that were written before, he thought he knew, were incorrect. Ko yiyeh, the way that others see you, is going to be a miscalculation by them, and Zarecha and your seed, the people who come after Avram, are going to have this special place that is different from the rest from the place that the rest of the world has. Vayotzei oto achutza vayomer habetna hashamayma usfor hakochavim im tuchal lisporotam vayomer lo ko yiyeh zarecha. Do we have one more sentence in us, or is everybody fading? I think everybody's fading. I think we'll call it there. Does anybody have another comment that they want to?
Vayotzei, rather than Vayotzei.
Yes.
Vayotzei means he went out.
Okay, let's pause and take for a second.